There's a creepy old science experiment where they put a frog in a container of water and it's over a low flame. Little by little, they raise the temperature of the water by just 1 degree. I don't know if I saw this in a movie or if I actually saw it I don't know. But the frog can jump out of the container at any time, but it stays put because the difference in the temperature is so slight, the frog doesn't notice it. And little by little, degree by degree, the water keeps getting hotter and hotter until the frog is boiling and it's dead. Okay, I remember where I was going now. Here's the point tonight. When it comes to our economic crisis, you're the frog, and Congress keeps turning up the heat, and maybe it's time to jump. Here's how I got there. Too many shows talk about complicated economic indicators. I mean, have you seen CNBC lately? I don't even know what the hell these guys are even talking about. I mean, just people who are listening and watching, the average person in America, mom or dad, living paycheck to paycheck, that's 40% of American workers. Well, here's the reality. National and economic international indicators, they do affect you, and here's how. Just like the little frog in hot water, prices are going up quietly and steadily. I told you yesterday that every product, from the food you eat to the plate that they serve it on, travels an average of 1,500 miles to your door. As gas prices go up, shipping costs go up. That means the price of stuff being shipped goes up. But let's forget about percentages. Let's think about it this way. A loaf of bread, and you know this, costs 23 cents more this year than back in 2006. Dozen eggs, 73 cents more. Chicken, 10 cents more. Gallon of milk, 67 cents more. That's real money that you have to pay every single week. It now costs a family of three $300 more a month for food. Now, that's just one line on your budget. We're not like Congress and we can just print more money. Gas prices are also up 26% over this time last year. That's another $100 a month. I mean, I didn't get one. Did you get a $400 a month raise? Because I missed mine somehow or another. Also consider that Walmart, the biggest corporation in America, which, place that everybody shops at, it doesn't make anything. Everything they sell comes from someplace else, and a whole buttload of it comes from China. So when you hear that a shipping container, those big shipping containers those things that they put on boats, that used to cost $3,000 to send to America. Now, because oil is up at $125, it's $8,000. They say if oil hits $200 a barrel, it'll cost $15,000 per container. You better believe that baby formula and disposable razors and the flip-flops that are sitting in those containers are going to cost us all a whole lot more. Maybe it's only an increase of 60 or 75 cents per item, but when you're paying more for everything, your budget's going to take a big hit. So tonight, here's what you need to know. You know it, I know it, Congress doesn't. This is real. And if we don't do something about it, demand that Congress stop spending our money like you could just keep printing more and take action to stop the bleeding, we're all the little frog in the water. The moral of the story is, as fuel prices go up, it literally affects every aspect in your life. And everybody knows it. And Congress, who usually does little or nothing at all, right now is blocking the doorway to progress. And they're aggressively making things worse. Remember, you're the frog, he is on, time to jump. Stephen Moore writes editorials for economics on the Wall Street Journal, and Bob O'Brien is the stocks editor for Barron's Online. Stephen, let me start with this. We're going to talk in about a half hour about cap and trade. This is the largest tax program ever. This is going to impact us as much as the income tax program did back in 1916.
Yeah, I was listening to your monologue, Glenn, about these huge increases in costs and everything from milk to gasoline to eggs and groceries. And, listening to that, and I'm thinking, down the street from where I am on Capitol Hill, the United States Senate is now debating a bill to make everything even more expensive.
Yeah, you say the days of cheap sneakers in America is soon going to come to an end.
Well, I think if you look at the costs of all these items, I think partly this is a result of Congress that is spending money like it's water, and partly because the Federal Reserve Board forgot how to keep control of inflation. And the combination of those two things has led to some of the highest increases in prices that we've seen since the 1970s.
Okay, we have, Bob, trucks idle right now. The truckers are having a hard time. People are starting to use the train system. The trains are now overloaded. Congestion in Chicago. Everything goes through Chicago. I just saw a stat today. UPS says a 5-minute delay every day of their products from UPS, a 5-minute delay, costs them $100 million a year. I mean, how do we fix this one?
Well, you have to let marketplace forces take command here. And basically, I think under this time, I mean, let's just admit we're in the midst of a crisis right now. And I think that what the government has to do is gather together some of the leaders of industries, whether you're talking about the trucking industry or the rail industry or the shipping container industry, and basically put these guys in a room, keep the antitrust forces at bay for a period of time, and basically say, listen, you guys hammer this out. Get rid of the duplicative, sort of routes that many of these take.
They won't do it. Bob, I've talked to airline executives who said they wanted to do this with gas. They wanted to get together and say, look, guys, you cover this part of the country, we'll cover this part of the country. Sure. We can collapse oil prices on the speculation overnight. But the government wouldn't do it.
Well, look, if the mob could sit down in the 1950s and break up whole parts of the country in a way that made sense and allowed the Costa Nostra to thrive, then why can't Congress get out of the way of some of these industries, recognizing that we're in a siege mentality right now, and allow some of these industries to effectively carve up the country? I'm not saying this is going to be a solution that's going to last forever. However, under the current circumstances, if we don't remedy something, this economy is going to tip into
the answer to that is because everything Congress is doing right now, Glenn, it's almost as if they're on the side of the speculators. I mean, they're trying to do the cap and trade, which is a massive increase in the tax on gasoline. They're running up big budget deficits. They're spending money like crazy. They won't allow us to produce our own energy. It sounds like they're on the side of the Saudi Arabians.
You had, we had dinner, about 8 months ago, I think, and I said to you, Stephen, falling dollar, gold. You said, Glenn, don't worry. Falling dollar, don't worry. It'll come back around. You said, but there will come a point where you need to worry. Are we there yet, Steve?
I am worried because we remember when we got together, I said we'll never see the day when we have $100 gasoline. Yeah. Now we got 125. It is time to worry. It's a time to tap our own resources. It's a matter of national security and national economic security.
We had another crane accident here in New York, and we were wondering what's happening to the cranes. 70% of the cranes are over in Dubai right now. I mean, this is a global thing. America is fundamentally changing, isn't it? We are not at the top of the food chain like we used to be.
And Glenn, there is nothing more evident of that than the transportation business right now. If you think about all those cargo ships that you were talking about, every single one of them is parked outside a port in China right now. Now, some of them are bringing goods back to us, but the Chinese government and the Chinese market is dominating some of these things, and one of the reasons why we're paying so much is simply because there are no containers here. There are simply no ships to move products from, say, Saudi Arabia to Houston, and that's hurting hurting the economy.
Thanks a lot. Now, oil prices aren't easing up anytime soon. That means a whole lot more than just gas prices costing more. Food's going to cost you more. Everything else. Don't let it catch you by surprise.